Welcome to the Big Kickoff League of Ireland Sports Bar. My name's Roy Shanahan, and today I'm joined by Adam Foley of Finn Harps, top striker, I suppose you can say this year, Adam. I haven't seen much of you playing, so this obviously is the norm for Adam Foley, is it?
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, look, it's going well at the moment, so no complaints. Obviously, we just wish there was a couple of more points on the board for us, but look, I mean, you probably snapped your hand off to take the position that we're in going into the break. So, look, we look forward to kicking on in the second half.
Yeah. At the start of the season, a lot of us were shocked at how Finn Harps started, especially with the games they had at the start of the season. What way were you reacting to that in the dressing room?
Look, we could see by the players we had, particularly towards the end of the season. I mean, we really kicked on. I think the last maybe about 11 games or so, maybe less, 10. We only got beaten twice, which was Sligo and Shamrock Rover. So we knew there was something there to build on. So we're fully confident going into most games, and we hit a bit of form towards the end of the season. So it was just about trying to continue that, and obviously Ollie getting the recruitment that he got in. We obviously got in some great players during the window that was open there. Before the season. And look, we just kicked on. We quickly gelled, and look, we still know there's always room for improvement, as we all know in every team. But look, we hit the ground running, and it was no surprise to us. We knew we had that in the dressing room. It was just about trying to get more consistent than anything.
Yeah. We have Ush who normally sends a message in. Flying Foley on fire. I'd say you must be up there now at the moment as an all-time favourite, even though you're only there a short spell. I mean, you've made a big impact. Do you feel that? Have you seen people outside the ground?
Yeah, I've spoke to a few, and it's nice now that obviously getting comments and I get people come up and talk to me and so on around Ballybuffet when I'm out there in the morning times before the games. But look, it's nice obviously, but it's just about really for us. Like I don't really pay too much attention to it, being quite honest with you. I mean, as I said, look, it's nice to get comments, and I'm very, very grateful for getting them. Look, I'm just there to try and do my job, and that's it really.
Yeah. You've got 6 goals in 14 games. Are you happy with your form, even if take the goals aside? How do you feel that you're playing?
Yeah, like I feel I'm doing well. You know, as I said before, like there's always room for improvements, and obviously I'm no different. Being an attacking player, you're relying on scoring goals and maybe creating goals. So that's always my aim, no matter where I'm playing. Whether I was playing in a 10, out left, out right, or up top, I'll always try and get myself on the score sheet or try create something for someone. But I'll be lying if I said anything different, because as an attacker, you pride yourself on scoring and trying to deliver as much as you can. So look, I'm happy with it. I mean, the numbers are there, but again, we're only as 14 games in. So look, there's always a chance for me to go and kick on again, and that's what I fully plan on doing.
Do you like that? You have to, I think there's 2 assists. Do you count assists? Does that even matter to you?
I have to tell you, as I said, as an attacking midfielder, like I love an assist. I love setting up. Now I know my little 5-yard pass to Barry probably is going down as an assist, but look, for that goal against Dundalk. But look, if I didn't pass to him, it would never have happened. So I'll take it all day. And again, look at another one, Tunday's goal last week. So yeah, look, I'll take assists all day long. I love an assist just as much as I love a goal.
Yeah. And did you notice that every game that you've scored and you have gone on to win?
Yeah, I noticed that. I was told it as well, and it came up a few times. We have a bit of banter with it as well, me and a few of the lads. Like every time someone says something, I said, you do realise every time I've scored, we've won. So we don't want to talk about it. So, you know, we have a bit of crack with it, in fairness. But I was only came up in conversation there last week. I think it was continuing on from last season as well, the Waterford game and the Pats game as well, with both goals in them games. So yeah, it was only a continuation going from last season. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. It's a good stat to have, I'm not going to lie.
Killian here wants to know, how good did it feel to score that goal against Derry in the brand new L?
Yeah, no, that was brilliant, because I think the first half we had a few, we huffed and puffed the first half, and then I think the second half we dominated the game, and we were only short of just scoring. And so when we got the first goal and we knew we could kick on again. And I think the Finn Harps, I think Dougie the kit man must have left that fence unlocked for me at the back of the gate. Because I seen a few people up there giving a few verbals, a few polite words, I should say, that they gave to us. So yeah, look, it was a great goal. It was a huge moment for us and for the club as well. I think it's the first ever league win in the Brandywell, from what I've been told. So yeah, it was great to kind of to break that off and look, again, we enjoyed it, but it didn't particularly last long for us, because we went into the Bows game a couple of days later, and look, they didn't go to plan that game, so we quickly got brought back down to earth, you know.
Yeah. It was a real striker's goal, by the way. You know, you took a first time. It was clinical. You didn't dilly-dally around it. So I think that was the most important part on it. Bart wants to know, where do you think is your best position? Do you like leading the line or prefer somewhere else?
I do prefer, over the last number of years, I've been playing more of a central role. Most of my career, early 20s and so on, coming up, I've always been out on the left or out on the right. I do enjoy more being involved in a central role. In terms of playing, who do I enjoy playing with? Like, again, I enjoy playing with all the lads. I mean, I have a really good relationship with Barry. When Barry's tucked into the 10 role, and again, as you can see, the pass against Derry, you can see the pass he done for me against Waterford last year. We just have a good understanding, and it seems to work. He sees my runs and vice versa. So Barry's someone who really I enjoy playing with. Same with the other boys as well. Like even going from Webby at the back. I mean, Webby plays either left full, right full, centre half, but he'll always find me with a pass as well, a good understanding, and it's not something that's just done. I mean, we have this kind of relationship in training as well. So I mean, thoroughly enjoy playing with the lads, and there's a number of other players there as well. But for me, kind of creating goals and scoring goals, Barry's always the one that kind of helps me out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting plenty of questions in. I'm looking at mine. I'm looking at yours. So we'll go here. Ush is going to have a fan club ready for you. There should be a statue outside for scoring that goal against the Muckers. Good man, Ush. Barrett also said the second best celebration at Brandywell after Kevin McHugh's run up that dog track. Neil Dobbs wants to know, this is an interesting one. What advice do you give young aspiring boys and girls to try and make it into League of Ireland teams? Because with all the underage teams now, under 13s is a real doubt, but 15s, 17s and 19s, there's a lot of players there who are going to end up disappointed. Yeah. So what's the best way for them to go about their business to try and make it into the League of Ireland?
I think, look, for me, especially, I got my first professional contract when I was 23. You know what I mean? So a lot of people want the here and now, and like they want it yesterday. I mean, one of the main things for me that I always pride myself on is my attitude and my application. And it's also the work that I do off the field. I mean, not only people see what you do on a Saturday or a Friday night, they don't see what you're doing throughout the week and even away from the team. It's the extra work you do. I mean, I have a strength and conditioning coach that helps me out twice a week. I'm in the gym the other 2-3 days a week on top of what I'm doing as well, with my own training. So it's a lot of work that puts in. It depends how much you want it. I mean, I see people wanting as I said, they want it the day before. They're not willing to put the work in. But yeah, in this game, if you want to get to the top league in the country or you want to go further, it's all about your application attitude. And sometimes there's a good quote from what I was told growing up was, train every day like you're number 2. So when you get the jersey, train every day like you're number 2, stay hungry, and things like that will go your way. But it's a lot of kind of perseverance and resilience, and it's a lot of setbacks. I mean, you get more setbacks than you do rewards in this game. I mean, as I said, I mean, even after that Derry game, it doesn't change. I mean, you're on a high after the Derry game and you're brought straight back down to earth 4 days later. It's a game of emotions, and you're constantly up and down, and a lot of the thing that I try and kind of keep myself in is self-belief. And I think a lot of players really need to have that. They need to believe in their own ability, that they can do it and they will do it, and set targets for themselves. And as I said, look, confidence and motivation, it all kicks in. But if your attitude and application isn't there, you're not going to make it. But if you push yourself and have that bit between your teeth that you're going to say, yeah, I am going to do this. What work am I going to put in while people aren't looking? And as I said, look, train every day like you're number 2 when you get your jersey. I mean, it keeps you hungry. I mean, you don't want to be getting too far ahead of yourself. I've had moments where I feel that, oh geez, I'm on top of the world now, I can take my foot off the gas. You know yourself, you cannot do that. And I'm lucky enough that I don't think like that anymore. But it's a lot of self-work and self-talk and confidence that I actually done a sports psychology diploma, and stuff like that really opened up my eyes to my own game. Stuff that I had as a kid growing up, by quite a lot of performance anxiety, where I'd always worry about either a fear of failure, a fear of letting not only myself down, maybe my team down, my family, little stupid things that would enter my mind. And I just started really kind of focusing on me. And the more I started doing that, I started seeing more results coming through. And a large part of that was my kind of self-talk, to myself, little encouraging words. You know, it's not always going to go your way, but if you have that belief to bounce back, and as I said, the resilience to bounce back and the perseverance to keep on going through the knockbacks, then look, something's going to fall your way. And it's about when it does fall your way, you go and take it. And look, that's what I've kind of seemed to do over the last while, and that's what I'll continue to do when I hang up the boots and go into coaching. I'll still be the exact same, you know.
You might just tilt your camera a little bit, just that shine off the light there, if you can touch it down. That's grand. That's grand. Yeah, no, your hair will get in the way of the rest of it. That's fine. You spent, who did you play for? Schoolboy football?
I was always with Glebe North. North growing up. Yeah, so I joined Glebe at age 6. I started off as a goalkeeper and worked my way up the pitch. I was a goalkeeper then. Obviously, I think the manager realised that I was too quick to be a goalkeeper. So he started putting me out on the wing, and that's how kind of my attacking game started. But I was a goalkeeper for the first year or two.
Right. Okay. And you obviously stuck around there. I'd seen that I didn't know you managed the side over there, and you had to stop that. Were you disappointed you had to stop?
Yeah, it was this. It wasn't for me in the first place. I was there, like I was doing my badges, and with previous management that wasn't working out, so we had to kind of come in and stabilise the club. And my whole aim was to do that and get someone else in to take it over. I know COVID was the worst time for some people, but it fell the right time probably for me. The fact that like I wouldn't be able to commit because of obviously my commitments with Harps. I wouldn't have been fair on the players. I wouldn't be able to be there. I mean, I have my own stuff going on in my personal life as well with my own commitments. So it was a lot to ask, and I'm not the right man to do that for the club. I mean, I was there to stabilise it, and I got the right people in to help me out. But thankfully, we got Darius Cairns in. As you well know, Darius is an absolute great fella, great coach. And not only that, a great character, and someone that's going to hopefully take that club on further. We've kept the players there. Darius will add in a few more. We still keep in touch, which is great. And look, it's always going to be my hometown club. And as I said, my main aim was to go in there and stabilise the place for when I knew I had to move on eventually. And I brought in my cousin Eric with me as well. And I mean, Eric's been brilliant for me. He's been helping me out on the pitch. I mean, I normally kind of was doing the coaching. I wasn't able to do that as such because of all the other stuff going on, trying to manage and kind of maybe distribute different parts to other coaches and so on. And Eric came in and took a huge weight off my shoulder. So look, we done exactly what we wanted to do, what our plan was to do, and then we got Darius in, thankfully, to go and take it on. Brilliant.
You spent a good chunk of your time playing in the North.
Yeah.
Did League of Ireland clubs not knocking your door? Was there nothing there, and how did the North come about?
The North came about through Tony Grant, Boots Grant. So Boots was obviously a Glenavon legend, and we actually played Glenavon in the pre-season match with Glebe. Would have been 8-9 years ago, and again, Gary Hamilton was looking for a player, and one thing just kind of led to another. Boots gave him a shout about me. I went up training. My first training session, he offered me a 2-year contract straight away. And I was happy to sign that in a great club. It was unfortunate that after I signed my contract, the second game in the preseason, I'd done my cruciate. So I wasn't there I was there throughout the season, but you know, I mean, it's completely different when you're nursing an injury and you're trying to get yourself back right. And I missed out on winning the Irish Cup, missed out playing Europa League. And then the next season after, we brought in some absolute quality attacking players. So found it very difficult to kind of get my feet back on the ground, like get back into that kind of rhythm of how I was playing beforehand. So you know what I mean, you're nursing an injury, a serious injury that kept you out for over a year. You're bringing in quality players. It's tough, and again, that goes back to the kind of before the mental aspect of the game. And I knew for a fact I had to go back home and try play just get minutes in my legs again. And I knew when I got minutes in, get my confidence back, then I'll come back up north. And look, that's what I've done. But it was a great time up there. I did have League of clubs, but it didn't work out. I had Owen Harry rang me at Shells when he was with Liam Kelly. Liam was my own manager. They rang me. I met with Tony Cousins before when he was at Longford. Drogheda were in for me at one stage. Would have been ideal, obviously only up the road, same as Shells. But I mean, Glenavon was just when I went up there and went around the place. I mean, I loved it straight away, and it's just a place I wanted to play football. You know.
Yeah, it must have been tough for you. So when you're talking about the sports psychology, you go up to a club, they're after giving you a 2-year contract, and then you get injured and you're out for a year. How did you cope with that? Like that you must have felt like you were letting them down.
Yeah, I struggled. I struggled a lot. Not gonna lie about it. Off the pitch, it was killing me. I wasn't going well. I had a lot of issues. In my personal life, I was get let go from my job. Different situations going on. Obviously, my injury kicked in. As you know, I mean, as a young player, you rely on, you want to be a footballer. That's always your aim. You want to be a professional footballer. You want to build on that and try and make a career out of the game. Back then, for me, it seemed to be kind of block after block holding me back, getting in the way, and I really found it hard to deal with. Thankfully, that I did come out the other side of it, and as I said, got myself back right, worked on myself a little bit to be mentally stronger and take the setbacks and take the knocks and keep moving forward. And that's kind of what you get when you're in a serious, when you have a serious injury. It is mentally, it's more, I know physically you're in pain, but mentally is 10 times more than the physical. Because you're seeing the lads going on to have that season that they had. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say you're not jealous of it. Of course you are. I mean, you're sitting there thinking, I want that gold medal wrapped around my neck after winning the Irish Cup. I want to play Europa League. And it just wasn't falling for me. But again, delighted for the lads obviously being there. I mean, you're around the dressing room, you're around the club, great club. But it was still just jealousy kicking in for me, and mentally finding it hard to kind of set that aside and wanting to get back, and probably getting myself back. I wasn't ready, and that probably killed me even more. The fact that I felt I was back and I couldn't do things that I was doing previously. So it did take me a long time after the operation and after the rehab to get myself back to a certain level where I could say, yeah, you know what, I'm back. And thankfully I came back probably 10 times better than the player I was going up there, which for me, which is exactly, it's a success in its own for me. And that's something that I always kind of hold myself by and say, you know what, you went through that, you've came back and you've gone on even better again.
Yeah. Ollie Horgan came in for you. How did he convince you? Now, I know I'm taking a big jump from when you started to Ollie Horgan, but you played, you went back into Leinster Senior League, you went back up to the North. We might touch on that in a sec, but Ollie Horgan convinced you to join Finn Harps. How did he do that?
There's a pen, sign that paper. That was it done.
As you said, you had Shells, Drogheda, Longford looking for you. You never sort of dipped in with them, but straight away you jumped at a chance with Finn Harps.
Yeah, I think it was at the stage. See, back then, I wasn't in the same job that I'm in now. Thankfully, I'm in a good job now, and it's flexible as well that I can balance both. I mean, previously I would have had to leave my other jobs if I was going to sign for them. For Drogheda or for Longford or for Shells. Now, this is going back years ago. Longford was 8 years ago. Drogheda was about 5 years ago. Same with Shells as well. So it was a long time ago, but I would have had to leave the job I was in to commit to them. And I just couldn't do that financially. Not that I was getting paid a lot of money in my previous job. It was just warehouse work, but it was warehouse work that was paying the bills. So I knew I couldn't take that hit. So I finally got myself in a kind of stable condition where I could say, yeah, you know what, like, obviously COVID hit when I was up north and I was playing the championship, which obviously wasn't classed as elite, so they say. Ollie came down and got in touch. I was actually just at my niece's communion, and yeah, he just rang me. I had a missed call off this number and I wouldn't answer. And next thing I couldn't make out his voicemail is literally just his name. He just says his name, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. All I heard. And next thing I was like, I thought someone was barking on the phone. The next thing I was trying to ring it back. I was like, who is this number? So eventually he got through to me. And he was going to come down that day, but obviously I had a few jars on me. I was like, look, there's no point in coming down. He goes, look, enjoy your day. I'll see you Monday. And he was down literally around the corner. We met him in a hotel, and it was literally done in 10 minutes. We just said, yeah, look, let's go for it. it was only like a 3-month deal or something like that, 3-4 month deal. So I just said, look, why not? Let's go for it and see what happens.
How do you find Ollie?
Ollie, he's a character. Like what you see is what you get with him. He'll tell you out straight. I mean, I'm sure you see him in the media. Very, very dry sense of humor. Funny man. He doesn't mean to be funny. I mean, he could also tear the head off you in a second as well. But I mean, he's honest, and being like, I'm 31, I'm 32 this year, and at my age, all you want is honesty from a manager. And I've been with a lot of managers that don't give you that, or they say they give you that, but they can't back it up. They can't say what you want, and it's all kind of just, it's all mixed signals really. And with the likes of Ollie you have there, as I said, it's just honesty, and it's refreshing being the age I am now, just having a manager that will just tell you out straight, you're good, you're not. Now, he won't praise you too much, he never will, but he'll tell you if you're doing all right, like, you play the next week. So that's kind of his way of saying.
He's not saying much, you're doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. If he's not screaming at you too much, then you know what, you're doing okay for the time being. But look over your shoulder at all times, because he will get you one way or the other.
If you want to send in any comments, any questions at all, do send them in. Killian has a couple of questions just around Finn Harps. What is it like in the life of a Finn Harps player, especially living so far away from Donegal? And it kind of links into the second part of his question, which means, does the amount of travelling you do ever come into your mind, or do you see it as part of the game?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, we kind of go up in a car school myself. There's David Webster, Sean Boyd, and Conor Barry. Now it is tough, as I said. My job now, it's flexible that I can manage it. So I go up on a Tuesday, go up on a Thursday. If we have a match on a Friday, we stay up on a Thursday as well, and we'll do 3 days a week. I normally try and do always 3 days a week anyway. It is tough. I mean, you are driving a long distance. I mean, I didn't. The reason why I didn't want to sign previously for the other League of Ireland clubs was it was too much travelling going on. But then I end up choosing the furthest club away from me. But it's tough. Look, what I do, I normally wake up every Monday morning. I go to the gym straight away. Tuesday morning, I'll do a bit before I go travelling as well. And this is all including my work schedule, Monday to Friday. Wednesday, we'll have a recovery day. Thursday, again, I'm back to strength and conditioning, doing plyometric work with one of the coaches back home. And then up to training again. Friday, we normally rest before the game, or on the Saturday. Sunday, again, is a recovery session. So you're constantly, physically, you're active quite a lot. I think more the older I'm getting, I need more recovery days. Because if I want to kind of play a little bit longer, I mean, and see where I can go from there. But yeah, it's tough. The traveling, it's about 2:20, 2.5. I mean, but having the lads in the car helps obviously a lot. So I mean, you don't notice the time as much as maybe you would do when you're on your own, you know.
Yeah. What about, because obviously your job has to be flexible. There's double weekend games where there's a Friday and a Monday. That they must be very flexible with you on those weekends.
Yeah, no, in fairness, they're great. My boss is great with me. He's obviously a big football fan as well. But I mean, if I'm working, just for instance, the week before when we played, I forget who we played before the Waterford game. I think it might have been either the Dundalk or it might have been the Pats game. I'm not too sure, but we were playing on the Friday and then we were playing Waterford on the Monday. So we actually played on the Friday. We were off on Saturday. We trained in Waterford on Sunday, stayed over and worked on Monday. So I actually just set my work day to Monday. So I was actually working on we were in the hotel. I went out to the building site, met with the builder, done measurements for what I was doing in my job, and then went straight back to the hotel for the team meeting. So I mean, I was just doing emails in the room as well. So you mean you're able to, once you can balance it and you're not seeing as your, you know, I mean, it's not a big DOS. I mean, you're working anyway. So once I'm able to balance it, that's the key thing around it, is balance. So I was able to do that. And as I said, look, I'm on a building site in Waterford before we went out and beat them. So yeah, just balance. That's all I do. It's a lot of work. It's tiring, but look, I mean, if you want to play football at the level you're playing at, I mean, as I said, sacrifice is a huge thing, and certain things you have to do to get there, you know. Yeah, absolutely.
I heard that everyone up in Finn Harps welcomed you in really well. What kind of welcome? How did they make you feel at home?
Call me every name under the sun, being from Dublin.
That sounds about right.
It sounds about right, doesn't it? No, in fairness, that they were great with me. I walked in the door. Obviously, a lot of them didn't know who I was because they don't obviously follow the Irish League. They only really watch League of Ireland. So some knew me, some didn't. I was lucky enough that I knew that obviously I knew Ollie previously, but I knew Tony McNamee as well. So he was kind of talking to him at the start. But look, I'm good in the dressing room in the sense that I always go out there and talk to people, get to know them straight away. I mean, having a good dressing room is a big part of what I'm about and what I always want to have is a good dressing room with me and to see kind of get a feel for people, you know. So I mean, everyone was spot on with me as soon as I walked in. So it didn't take us too long to start kind of gelling with the lads and with the coaches there as well. But not only that, with the people on the committee, the backroom, the people that you don't see, Dougie as well, the kit man and Tommy, we've Ivan there as well. A lot of people, and they were always so welcoming to us. Now, in fairness, we still have, they always give myself and Webby a bit of abuse all the time coming up together. But I mean, it's back and forth. So as I say, look, it's a welcoming. It depends what welcoming it depends what way you define welcoming. But it's been great, and it's gone really well with them. So we've a good relationship, thankfully.
Yeah, as I said to you, you kind of were in management with Glebe North. Is management something that you would think about then afterwards? It's a hard game to be in. Yeah,
it is. Look, it's something that I am planning on doing. I mean, I'm just completing my B license now, just finishing it with the IFA. As soon as I get that done, I'm planning on going straight into the A license. I just, as of today, got accepted onto a degree in Jordanstown to do football coaching and business management. So it's always something that I'm trying to do and trying to improve myself off the pitch on. I think when you're coaching, it's all about the players, and I think when you're coaching, you're on your own. You have to start working on yourself that way. But it's always something that I try and do and try and help out as much as I can. And being a coach, I feel that it's the field that I want to go into. It was something that when I done my cruciate at 23, that I always aimed on going into coaching because I knew that the game's not going to last forever for me as a player. I mean, eventually, because I realised when I got a serious injury like that, you're thinking, Jesus Christ, I mean, this could either be the end of my career because I've never had a serious injury, or it could be the start of something else that I can look forward to. And that's the way I looked at it. So I tried to have that bit of optimism going into the coaching. I met one of the coaches at Glenavon at the time, and I seen kind of what he was doing and his kind of the meticulous, the planning, the attention to detail. It was quality, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's something that I really enjoy. And ever since then, I've been taking notes since I'm 23 of different coaches, different managers, different sessions. I mean, I've had great coaches up north, Chris Lindsay as well, in particular, when he was at Glenavon with me as a player and a coach. I mean, he was an absolute pleasure to be around and a really, really helpful. Nigel Law was there at the beginning. And then again, you see now a League of Ireland now as well, that the ones that we have in around the area that I'm at now, even the coaches up north with the IFA when I was doing the coaching, the B license, I mean, all very helpful and very well detailed to what you want to do. But ultimately, it's about you as a coach and your plans and what you want to do. So I'm fully engaged in knowing what I want to do when I finish up. Now, I probably only play for, I don't know, maybe another 2 or 3 years and see what happens after that. But my aim is to go straight into coaching, yeah.
Okay. What's Ollie like out on the pitch? Does he let the coaches do it, or does he get stuck in himself?
He will let the coaches take. Now he let the coaches take the first part of it, doing the warm up and a passing drill. But then we'll go straight into either 5-a-sides or into 11v11s, and Ollie will take over the 11v11s, and yeah, like he'll be in there and giving directions and giving orders for people to go and do. But it's also great as well because he lets you kind of think of your own ones to do as well. You know what I mean? So he's not. It's either you do this, what we're doing, or you come up with something. So he'll allow that kind of that responsibility passing on to the players, which is great. So you can always think of something that you might want to do, and he'll let you go and do it. So he does. He gets involved, very heavily involved, yeah. But I mean, his attention to detail as well for the opposition and making sure we're well drilled and well planned and ready for the opposition teams is quality. It's the best I've seen in terms of coaches and managers. It's the best I've seen.
Good stuff. When Niamh has a question, she has, what's been your most challenging game with the Harps so far?
Challenging game.
Probably the most, I suppose that means what kind of defender do you come up against that kicked the ankles off you?
Oh, defending, yeah. Defending wise, I've always had tough games against Rovers, obviously. I mean, we played Sean Hoare there only recently, and he was like, I mean, I know he's actually smaller than me, but just the spring on him as well. He was was quality, very tough to come up against. Playing even Rovers last year, Lopez as well. We played them in the cup, and the first half we had them. Second half he came on and he was quality. Obviously they got a few refereeing decisions their way as well, but yeah, they've been tough games. The likes of like even the Bows game this year, the away game, not the home game. Rovers this year as well. There's been a few games that have been obviously challenging, but I think every game is challenging. You know what I mean? It's tough. I mean, some days, some games we're on fire, we're clicking, we win. Other days we're on fire, we're clicking, we lose. I mean, they're challenging as well, because you're scratching your head thinking, what else do we have to do here? I mean, there's games this season where we done well and probably should have won. The likes of Longford away, we probably felt we should have beaten them. And you're kind of scratching your head thinking, how have we not come away with 3 points there? So there is games where they're all challenging, obviously, but there is games where you're kind of scratching your head thinking, what's after going wrong here, and so on. But yeah, they are always tough. I mean, there's been some even last year. I remember even last year, the Waterford game, the last game of the season, that was challenging. That was obviously tough because you're relying on other results to go your way, and you're trying to do your job. And I remember I was actually supposed to be playing right wing back that night, and I got moved up front the Thursday. So that was nearly a challenge in itself. And then I got moved back up top on the Thursday before the match of the Friday. And look, thankfully we went and won the game, and Rovers actually done us a favour against Shells. So I mean, they're challenging games because you're not only thinking about your own game, you're obviously in the back of your mind. They always tell you, they're always telling you, don't worry about the other game, just focus on us. But there to knock that off your shoulder and think, oh geez, you can't do that, because you're always asking questions. What happened? So that was a challenging game for us, but thankfully it went that way.
Brilliant. Bart wants to know, what does Paul Hegarty bring to the equation with Harps? Can you understand the instruction from the sideline during the game?
Does that subtitles there? I can't understand the instructions now. I definitely can't. It's just a lot of noise. But yeah, Heggs as well. I mean, Heggs brings a lot of experience with him. Again, he's another one who was hands-on. And will tell you out straight what you think you're doing right, what you think you're doing wrong. So yeah, look, again, he's one of them lads that will get he will get hands on in training, and he'll take over the 5-a-sides to jump into 11v11s himself, and Ollie bounce off each other as you well see. I mean, if Ollie doesn't get sent off, it's Heggs, and Heggs doesn't get sent off, it's Ollie. So it's good. Look, it's good. They bring a lot of experience. Obviously, Heggs has played at the top level for years and is known for the midfielder that he was. So I mean, you'd be crazy if you can't have someone like him in the club to help the players, especially the younger lads as well.
Yeah. So you said you were in management, okay, and you want to get into management. So if you had to pick a League of Ireland 5-a-side team now with one player allowed from one club, so you can't pick more than 2 from a club, what would your 5-a-side team be? You're not allowed to be in it because you're the manager.
Oh, geez.
Start off and go.
I'd stick with again. I always have to back my man McGinley. I'll have to go for McGinley. It's probably a safe bet, but look, I have to go for McGinley and Manus. Always the 2 keepers for me, but McGinley will just shade it for me.
Right, go right. So it depends. You can pick your shape. You can pick 1 at the back, 2 in the midfield, 1 up front, or you can take 2 at the back. What way do you play your 5-a-sides?
I always go I like to go all out attack, but I'll go for a solid. But actually, hang on, my goalkeepers included in it, so I only have 4 outfield players, don't they?
4 outfield players, yeah.
So, I just have to go one. You have me off there.
You're playing 1 defender. What defender would it be then? Who keep it solid back there? Who could you trust?
I always go for Webby. I have to give it to Webby. Webby will be the one that will always be. He'll have the banter with the other players as well. He'll get into their head. So Webby will always be the man I'd have. Right. Do you want me to choose players that aren't from Harps?
Yeah. Try and pick 1 from different clubs.
Different clubs, right? So we'll go for Manus and I will go for Massey after all, just for them free kicks alone. I mean, he's done
what a peach of goal, unbelievable.
That joke, absolutely. I knew straight away when it was down. I knew that was going in. Manus, Massey, the centre mid. No point in having McNamee there. You're not there, so it's not going to work. And Barry's my man all the time. Midfielder. In fairness, Mandrew's been playing a lot deeper this year. He's linking up play quite a lot. So I mean, I know I'm after putting Manus in there already, but look, I'll put Mandrew back in there as well. I'll put Mandrew.
Right, yeah, we'll just say it's from Bowes last year, right? Go on.
Yeah, we'll go on the wing.
You got to have skillful players, don't you? You got to have skillful. You can't have any holding midfielders in there. You
No,
can do
you
it.
can't. I'm thinking, you know, I think who will I put
What
up
about any
there?
of the Sligo boys? Because Sligo have impressed this year.
Yeah, they've done well. I mean, Parks up top's done well. Bolger's obviously done well this year as well. They've linked up play quite well. Gibson as well. They're an exciting team. It's just trying to think of who would I put on my team. Yeah, they've been good. Gibson's been very good this year. I've been impressed with him. He seems to kind of get more consistency in his game this year. I mean, I know last year he was shown flashes of what he can do, especially at the start of the season. He really kind of took it on. So yeah, look, we'll throw Gibson in there. I mean, if we're gonna make, I mean, I could put Jimmy Brown in there as well. James could go in there as well. I mean, I think he could play right wing, right back, up front. I mean, a bit of quality again. Only 22 years of age. I mean, again, another quality player in terms of a
Centre forward.
Centre forward. See, I think there's four or five of us up there at the moment. Isn't it? You know, I'll put. I know Doyle's not a striker, but you know what? He's top scorer now at the moment. I'll put him in there for the simple reason. Look, he's looking clinical in front of goal at the moment. So you know what? We'll put him up there.
Okay, good. All right, not a bad team, but you were struggling there. You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to talk that out.
Probably not a lot of balance in there. I mean, I'm sure we should. I mean, a lot of flair. Put it that way.
Well, if you can keep the ball, that's half the game. Listen, you're 31 now, 31 and a half. If you could go back in time and give your 15-year-old self a bit of advice, what would you give?
Just self-belief. It's probably something I really struggled with when I was growing up, as I said, with the performance anxieties and so on. It's something I really struggled with was a bit of confidence in myself, knowing that I was good enough to go and play on, but I was always held back by my own kind of inner thoughts and my own kind of negativity towards myself in terms of performance. So, I mean, self-belief has been critical for me, and it's something that I read a lot on. A lot of reading autobiographies, a lot of sports psychology books and so on, a lot of kind of sport-based team books on sports psychology. Some really, really good ones that helped me quite a lot. But I mean, just self-belief has always been the big thing for me, and something that I kind of pride myself on now. But back then, I never would have had it. I was probably too much of a pushover, too easy to be told maybe no, not willing to challenge a bit more, and kind of say things, you know what I mean? You use my words a bit more instead of kind of just taking things. And yeah, huge thing for me. And I always go back to attitude and application, because it's something that I firmly believe in that will get you over the line. Because I mean, I had ability. I mean, I had ability growing up. I just didn't have the attitude. I didn't have the application to go with it. And that's what kind of let me down at that age. And a lot of that was down to I did have the belief in myself that I can go on, but I never probably truly believed that. And I think just self-belief for me is always the key thing. If you feel you have a chance and you want to go and test yourself, go and do it. I mean, what's holding you back? You'll only probably have a life full of probably regrets the older you get. Now, I don't regret anything that I've done. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's led me to where I am now, which I'm really proud of. So it's nothing that's held me back. I mean, it's great to go through these experiences growing up, and you know what, taking it now and really kind of driving it home now as long as I can, you know, as long as I'm able to, really, I should say.
I thought that goes back to the advice for young aspiring boys and girls who want to make it onto League of Ireland teams. It's don't be afraid to fail, because that's the most important. I think that's what holds you back. That's the fear of it all. If you're afraid to fail, or afraid to take the shot in case you miss, or afraid to, you know, do something, the fear of people laughing at you or whatever it is, that's kind of what holds you back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people look at failure as like doom and gloom. I mean, it's all lessons. Failures, if you're not learning from it, I mean, you're doing it wrong. I mean, we fail literally every single day. You do something that you fail at. You maybe didn't make your bed. You maybe didn't have your breakfast. You didn't get milk the night before for the day after. I mean, you fail to do something every day. You just don't overthink it as much as you do in a sporting context. So failure is all about learning for me, and it's all about lessons to where I want to be. And the more I look at it as lessons and learning from it, then, I mean, there's advice in there somewhere. There's information in failure every time. It's just trying to find it. It's the unraveling part of all that will be able to kind of unlock the secrets to the success that you're trying to have and trying to build for yourself, you know? Yeah,
well, maybe for you, maybe it didn't work out as in you probably could have pushed on and maybe made more of a career out of your football if that wasn't there. But then again, if you're going into management, you're going into coaching, someone else may benefit from what you experience. So that's the way you probably have to look at it now as well.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question. One last question. What's your favorite ever memory moment in football in your career to date?
My favorite memory in football, it actually goes back to when I was 21. I got capped for the Irish amateur team, which as an amateur player, intermediate player, it's like that's the highest thing you can do. And you got to represent my country. And like, I remember being an absolute bag of nerves the whole way up to the game. I was just like, I couldn't stop shaking. And we were going to play the North in Oriole Park. And this was 2011. And yeah, my mom, my father, my dad passed away when I was only just gone 4. So I was on New Year's Eve in '93. So we grew up without that kind of father figure, without that kind of male presence in the house. Even though I have 3 older brothers, but we're all kind of close age. So my mom sent me a message on the way up on the bus about how proud he'd be and how proud she was. And I just suddenly felt myself relaxing, just nice and calm. I felt more looking forward to the occasion, even though I was looking forward to it, but I was also petrified in case something went wrong or didn't go right. Came on the second half and scored the winner. And the first thing I seen when I scored was my brother Kieran was on the left. My family were up on the left-hand side of the stand, and he was wearing this red Adidas jumper. And it was the first thing I seen when I turned, and once I seen him, I could see the rest of my family. My brother Kieran, Kelly, my mum, my nephew Dylan, Alan, Danielle, and a few of my neighbours and a few of the lads. The lads actually came up. It was the day we got the dole down in Balbriggan, so the lads got a bag of cans, got on the bus. I made a full day of it. It was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, so they made a full day of it. I went out on the Madden all day, and then I scored the winner. But it's just my mum's message to me. That support just it meant so much to me, and to go and do that. I mean, nothing will ever top that for me, because you can score goals in League of Ireland and score winners, and I mean, I know I've had great moments at Harps, and I've had great moments at other clubs as well. Scored some really important goals, but that goal will always mean the most to me, more than anything.
Brilliant. Just sounds like a great memory. I can picture it now myself. Adam, it's been brilliant having you on. Just for everyone out there, anyone who's been there, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much for your questions today. It's been brilliant having you all on board. Adam, best of luck. I hope you make loads of memories up in Finn Harps. You're only 31. Don't be thinking you're old yet, because you still have a good 5-6 years, depending on your body and your work, I suppose. That's the biggest one around it. But looking forward to seeing what you do the rest of the season and Finn Harps. And we were all dreaming of Finn Harps in the Champions League. Now we're thinking of Finn Harps in the Europa League. Don't let us down.
No, we'll keep going. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a bash. Thanks for having me, Roy, anyway.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks. Bye now.